in the heart of the storm. Years had passed since peace and prosperity returned to Wang Lung's land. Having survived famine and poverty, he had worked tirelessly to restore his fields. And at last, Olan and the children enjoyed a stable life once more. But nature was about to test them again with yet another trial. Ominous signs. One morning, Wang Lung felt an unshakable sense of unease. The sky was a dull shade of gray, and the wind was growing stronger by the hour. "This doesn't feel right," he muttered as he surveyed his fields. Olan stood at the front of their house, watching the darkening sky. The wind whipped at her clothes, making them billow violently. "Husband, I think a storm is coming." Wang Lung wiped the sweat from his brow and nodded. "Bring the children inside. We need to secure the grain first." The storm begins. The wind picked up speed, howling through the trees. Branches snapped, and dust swirled in the air. Wang Lung and his son ran to the granary. "Move the sacks of rice inside. Hurry." He grabbed as many sacks as he could, but the storm was growing fiercer. The roof trembled under the force of the wind. Crash! A massive tree branch flew through the air, smashing into the barn door. Wang Lung flinched at the impact. "We have to get inside now." He grabbed his children's hands and ran. Olan was waiting at the door, holding it open against the wind. "Are you all right?" she asked anxiously. Wang Lung panted heavily. "I couldn't save everything, but our family must come first." A house on the brink. The storm raged on. Part of the roof was torn away, and the walls shuddered under the relentless assault of the wind and rain. "Will the house hold?" Olan asked, her voice filled with worry. Wang Lung held the children close and reassured her. "As long as we're together, we'll be all right." At that moment, a deafening crash shook the ground. A section of the courtyard wall collapsed, sending a cloud of dust and debris into the house. Rain and wind surged inside. Wang Lung instinctively shielded his family with his body. After the storm raged through the night, but by dawn, the winds had calmed, and the sky was clear once more. Wang Lung cautiously opened the door and stepped outside. His heart sank at the sight before him. His fields lay in ruins, the rice plants flattened. The granary had partially collapsed. He sank to his knees, clutching a handful of earth. "Must we start all over again?" he whispered. Olan stepped forward and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "As long as we're together, we can rebuild," she said quietly. Wang Lung looked at her. Though sorrow lingered in her eyes, a glimmer of hope remained. Slowly, he nodded. "Yes, as long as we're together." Hand in hand, they stood and faced the wreckage before them, ready to rebuild once again. Even in the heart of the storm, their hope never faded. Chapter 8: Olan's death. Wang Lung and Olan had endured countless hardships together. Through famine, poverty, storms, and suffering, they had leaned on each other to survive. But as the years passed, Olan's body grew weaker. Deep wrinkles lined her face, and her hands became rough and cracked from years of labor. Yet, she never once complained. Olan falls ill. One evening, after finishing his work in the fields, Wang Lung returned home. But unlike every other day, Olan was not in the kitchen. She had always prepared a warm meal for him, but today, she was nowhere to be seen. "Olan, where are you?" He hurried inside and found her lying in bed. Her face was pale, and her breathing was shallow and weak. Have you been feeling unwell? He asked, his voice trembling. Olin slowly opened her eyes. I just wanted to rest for a little while, she whispered. Wang Lung touched her forehead. Her skin burned with fever. Why didn't you tell me? You're burning up. He rushed to find medicine, but Olin weakly lifted a hand to stop him. There's no need, it won't make a difference now. She forced a faint smile, though her strength was fading. Her final request. Olin's condition worsens. Olin's illness deepened with each passing day. Wang Lung wanted to do everything for her, but she spoke less and grew weaker as time went on. One day, she quietly called him over. My husband. I have one request, she whispered. Wang Lung took her hand tightly in his. Tell me anything. I will do it. Olin spoke slowly, her voice faint. When I die, please comb my hair and dress me in clean clothes. And bury me near the land I have always loved. Wang Lung swallowed his tears and nodded. I will do as you ask. But don't say such things. You won't leave me. Olin smiled gently. We have always been together. Now, you must walk a little farther without me, but I will always be by your side. The moment of farewell. That night, Olin's breathing grew more labored. Wang Lung held her hand tightly. My husband, I love you, she whispered one last time. Then, she quietly closed her eyes. Wang Lung could not let go of her hand. A deep pain, like something breaking inside him, overwhelmed him. Olin, don't go. But she did not answer anymore. By Olin's grave. Wang Lung buried Olin near the fields close to their home, just as she had wished. It was the land she had loved, the land she had devoted her entire life to. He sat in silence by her grave, gently touching the earth. He made many mistakes toward her, and the thought that they might have hastened Oren's death brought tears of regret streaming down his face. We were always together. You may have left my side, but I will still be here with you. Tears rolled down his cheeks, but he reached for the soil once more. I will keep living with the land you loved. As he whispered these words, memories of their life together filled his mind once again.